Hello and welcome to another episode of Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Larry.
Tara.
I'm Ari.
And I'm Josh. And today we're going to be going over another Anne Sexton poem. This is a poem that we discussed in Season 4, and it is The Starry Night, which is a response to the renowned painting by Vincent van Gogh. The discussion starter that I have for this is, Anne Sexton's The Starry Night was written as a response to Vincent van Gogh's painting of the same name. This poem in particular first appeared in her collection All My Pretty Ones in 1962. What kind of connection do you feel can be made between this poem and Van Gogh's work of art?
Well, basically, they're both, the thing with Van Gogh's art is that the way he portrayed his pain and his, I don't want to torture from other people, but mental torture, came out in colors. I think the way that Anne Sexton portrayed her mental torture and that kind of stuff came out through words. So to have them kind of come together as one kind of makes sense.
And two different means of expressing yourself, one through visual art and one through written work. Larry, Tara?
I'd say it's just sad. The painting is very sad. You get the feeling, of an isolation. And she puts that quote at the beginning of the poem about
Yes.
how Van Gogh.
It said, and I quote, "That does not keep me from having a terrible need of, shall I say the word, religion. Then I go out at night to paint the stars."
Yeah, and that just seems so lonely.
He wrote that in a letter to his brother.
Yeah. And to me, there's something really lonely about that. And then this poem really captures a sense of loneliness and solitude. And I think the painting does as well, because it is so, it's far away from the village. It's a figure of the tree, which is she describes it, and looks very stark.
One black-haired, except where one black-haired tree slips up like a drowned woman into the hot sky.
Yeah. So to me, that the image is very stark of the tree. It's it looks harsh and untouched by love or anything like that.
And it's lonely too.
Yeah. The whole thing is lonely.
That's how Anne Sexton feels, but at the same time, it's also how she wants to die, and how that's the way that's her goal in mind.
And get sucked in the world.
She basically said, when I'm saying when because she was pretty much up for it, when I die, this is the image I want in front of me. I want to be in this image here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place she would want to be in. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to put it, but that's not what happened. She died in a car, I think.
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
The way that they, I think there's some, the way I interpreted it this time and times before, I always see something a little bit different. And I feel like there are some works that you just need to read for their face value. There was a lot going into her mind, but I feel that approaching this, it was simple. It was not simple, but it was, the way to see it is Anne Sexton's response to this Vincent van Gogh painting, The Starry Night. What's probably become his most renowned painting, the one that people know him most for.
Sure. Under the potato eaters.
But however, there are things that can be, because I was also thinking about how her response to when the world does, when night becomes day, but then after another read, I think we stay strictly into this image of the night and the stars that are being swallowed up. The thing that gets to me,
That's the interesting thing, is that people will take that differently. Sexton says that the stars are going to be swallowed up. While someone like me would say, no, the stars aren't being swallowed up; they are coming through the darkness.
Yes.
So, like, you could tell by the wording she used exactly what kind of condition she's
What
in.
is the old unseen serpent? Which it could be. I mean, one could argue that it's the people that the people from the company, like the chemical companies that blow smog into the air and and it causes the stars to
Destroy.
be. It blocks the stars from our vision.
I mean, to be completely honest, I love poetry, but this one just did not resonate with me very well. I think it's just like, if it's about grief, fine. If it's about losing someone, fine. But just like describing a painting as, this is where I want to die. I know I want to die. I'm very depressed. I'm like, that doesn't ring with me very much.
I would say this is my favorite Anne Sexton poem.
Well, Anne Sexton tends to write that way. That's why I'm not a big fan of Sexton.
I mean, a lot of confessional poets are a little bit over the top. They can be over the top dramatic.
Yeah, I think though the one thing I do like about this poem is that she uses Vincent Van Gogh, who, like I said earlier, goes through similar, had similar issues. So it's almost like she felt a connection
To him.
with him,
Yeah.
which I do appreciate that part of the
Yeah, I
the poem. So
appreciate that
even though I
concept
don't
too.
like the depressive nature of it, I think it's written well, and I also think that, like, comparing it, or not comparing it, but like feeling attached to someone who went through something similar is very interesting.
And Vincent van Gogh painted the Starry Night around July of 1889 in a monastery, more so a mental institution that he checked himself into. It was a little bit after his incident where he cut off part of his ear.
Oh yeah.
And it was a response to the Starry Night that he saw outside his window. And believe it or not, the Starry Night is actually only maybe a little bit bigger than something like this.
Yes,
Because I saw the original painting in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. That's where it resides. When I went with Valley. I saw the original. I was wondering if it was the original or if it was but it was the original, all right. And
What's it doing in New York, though? I feel like something like that would be in.
whoever
you
owns
would
it,
think it'd be.
put it there.
He was from Austria,
Yeah.
or Austria, Netherlands.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah,
that would
Netherlands.
be in the Netherlands.
But I think one of the reasons, the explanation that could be made is that it made the move to New York around 1941. It was around the start of World War II, and perhaps to have it leave that area when Germany was invading that territory,
And taking all the paintings.
they could have it could have not gone to a it may have not had a good ending. But I mean, a lot of his original paintings still reside where he is from.
Like with this poem, I have very much a love-hate relationship with this poem because I don't like the topic, but I love the wording.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, it's describing something that is not something I'm a fan of, but the way it's describing is so powerful that it brings it up significantly.
You familiar with the painting before you read the poem?
Yep, I'm very familiar with
Yeah.
the painting.
And
So
what do you
when it
think,
was talking about, like,
did
the
it change the way that you look at the painting at all, the poem?
Well, I've always looked at the painting in a positive light.
Yeah.
So
Can you see where she's coming from when you look at it? Can you look at it through her eyes?
I can see it, but I don't necessarily agree.
But I
Right,
think
right.
at the same, I think that she's seeing it in a in a way of solace, though, too. She's looking to.
I feel like it's like kind of like looking at a nuclear explosion and saying this is beautiful. You know, I mean, some people will say that. I'm not saying that
I
people
mean,
won't
she's-
say that, but
Right.
I mean, somebody that's emo would do something like that.
So, you know, there are things in this world, in this universe, that are absolutely beautiful, but the most deadly things. Look, it's talking about space and Starry Night. Space is as deadly as it can get, and yet people marvel at it and look at it like it's amazing. So like it's interesting. You're taking this painting that was created out of mental torture and pain, created to be dazzling and colorful, and then you have Anne Sexton who's like, oh well, I'm going to take these these brilliant colors and put them right back in their place where they came from the pain and torture, and try to be on the same level of what, trying to describe what it's going to look like. This is what I want when I kind of pass away, or if you don't want to use that analogy, it's just like if you're in a bad place in general. Like, this is where I would want to be at the end. I don't want to be in a car. Well, I wanted to be there anyway, but I don't want to be in like a house. I want to be outside overlooking a beautiful scape that seems like it could have been created by, it doesn't have to be Van Gogh, but like just the place that she is going to. It's you can kind of look. I think it's a different perspective when it was written compared to now when we know what happens.
Yeah, I wonder. But I did not know that she had, died in that way when I read it. But when I read it, I said, "This sounds like it's being written by a suicidal person." It definitely comes through.
You
So
said
the
this was
imagery of the
written in
drowning
62?
woman.
Yes.
She died in 75?
74.
74.
She was 45 years old.
So I would say it's something that she struggled with for a long time.
She had bipolar disorder, and
Yeah.
it was much more serious than anything I know that anyone personally I know has. But like, I've said this in other episodes having to do with mental health, but like, bipolar is something that's really tough. I mean, I don't think I have it, but like I was diagnosed with it for quite some time, and like the treatment that I've gotten is up and down. But like, even just regular mood swings are pretty powerful. I just can imagine what she would have been going through. And as much as I don't like reading content about negative stuff, just the way that she powers through this poem in just 3 paragraphs is or stanzas is quite amazing.
Yeah, it's a powerful piece. It is powerful, and very sad, like I said. And you get a real sense of a loneliness from it, and isolation.
I just want to correct myself. I said earlier I don't like Anne Sexton. That's not true. I don't like the decisions she made in her life.
Yeah.
I wanted to just
I
clarify
mean,
that.
she was a great writer. She was, as a person though, she was a very, the way that she treated her kids was just very questionable.
Yeah, we talked about this in a previous episode. But no, I just wanted to clarify that I don't hate Anne Sexton. I just didn't like the decisions she made, but her writing is very powerful. So I just want to clarify that.
Writing.
I would like to keep reading this poem too, because I could probably get more and more out of it. But I love the description that she made, that her interpretation, because someone else can interpret the poem, and I know our friend John, actually, he did his Cinquain on the Starry Night.
When I first read it, I thought it was like really well written, and also thought it was like good versus evil a little bit. And then I read it again, and then I picked up the depression and everything else.
Yeah, to me, the serpent is definitely Satan. I think in John's Apocalypse, which is the last book of the Bible, often known as Revelation, that is where we get the image of Satan as a serpent in the sky who waves his tail and knocks a third of the stars out of the sky, which is
What do you think the great dragon is implying?
that's Satan.
You said the serpent was Satan.
But yeah, well,
You mean they're one and the same?
They are one and the same. Because in the Garden of Eden we have it as a serpent, and
That's
in
true.
Revelation it's described as a dragon
tree of
in the sky,
knowledge.
and it is meant to imply the same thing.
But like reading this, it is so powerful, but in a way that you can tell that this person is just done with life and will be done with life shortly, if not already. Like, I mean, the night, instead of saying the night glistens with 11 stars, it says boils. Boils is a very negatively twisted word there, and it's also talking about the moon bulges in its orange irons, like the moon is trapped.
Yeah.
Like the moon, for like, if you look at the moon, most people would say, "Oh, the moon is it's
Lovely.
full today. It's
Yeah.
lovely. Kids are gonna go crazy in school. That kind of stuff." But like, and that's actually a fact, by the way. But in irons, like that's a really tough,
It's
powerful.
prison.
statement in the more pessimistic direction, or maybe in this case she'd be thinking it's more realist.
Mm-hmm. I do think that there is naturalistic aspects to it, though, too.
Mm-hmm. I think the descriptive, like I said, I think the description and the words are very powerful. But would I agree with how she is describing the painting? No, I would not. I keep it in much more of a positive light of someone who had been struggling with something. The painting, I mean, someone who had been struggling, trying their best to overcome the struggles in the best way possible, or if not overcoming them, instead of not overcoming them necessarily, but like expressing it in a more positive way than I think Van Gogh expressed it in a more safer, positive way.
But the process
Sexton
rather than the destination.
Right, the cause, not the effect. Right.
Mm-hmm. The journey, not the destination.
Yes.
But have you come across the new book, Vincent Starry Night? It's a children's book. I think her name is Judy Proffer?
I have not come across it, but I have recently read for the Alphabet Roundtable read. I read a Van Gogh book, but that was not an autobiography. That was just like a reference book. It wasn't a biography. It was like a reference book. The difference between the way that Vincent Van Gogh portrays pain is a more I don't want to say positive, but it's a more, it feels like something is coming out of it. While here, the portrayal of pain is just, it seems to be like, oh, I'm in pain, and this is this, and this is this. Yeah. Like, it's different. Maybe it's because it is a poem, and it's not like a work of art, that it's just expressed differently. But I feel that, I think that Anne Sexton's usage of this painting is probably the best possible direction she could have gone in when it comes to, with kind of like our literary responses to art.
Okay.
I think like this is her literary response to art.
And she approaches it in her way.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. What do you think of, Josh, I asked Ari, but I'm curious about you and Tara too. Like, when you read the poem and you look at the painting, do you see what she sees there?
To some extent, but I don't necessarily, in the visual sense, I don't necessarily get the serpent and the dragon, the satanic, or as you see them as satanic references.
Maybe like the swirls.
Possibly. Yeah, that's what I think she's referring to, is that swirl.
Yeah. But the swirls are not assertive to the point that they're... I'll actually pull something up, because first off, Vincent Starry Night, the children's book, is written by Judith A. Proffer, illustrated by Yoko Matsuoka, and
say Yoko Ono.
Then the introduction is by Don McLean.
Well, I would expect it to be by Don McLean, because he's the one that wrote the song. One of the best songs out there, by the way.
Vincent is relative, because people know him most for American Pie, but...
No, Vincent's a superior song in many, many regards.
What song is it?
Vincent, Starry Night by Don McLean. People say American Pie is his best song. It's not.
It's a matter of opinion. A lot of people would argue American Pie is his magnum opus.
Yeah.
But,
I think, for my personal opinion, I'd say Vincent is better.
Looking at Starry Night, which I'll leave a link to down below, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before, but just to work along with what
I actually have a picture of Starry Night in my apartment.
We have one too. We have one framed, and then
should have brought it with me.
We have one.
I have one on my wall as well, in my office.
I see that there's something coming in.
Because like this kind of like that swirly pattern kind of looks like a dragon, like a Chinese dragon.
Yeah. Kind of. It's more so that it's kind of coming in like a cue ball on a pool table.
But it's possible that that's what she saw.
Yeah.
Was like a not quite visible dragon of satanic implication. But like for me, when I look at that, I see wonder. I see amazing, powerful, but I don't see depressive. I don't see like the moon in irons. I don't
Like,
see.
I s-
I mean, the tree maybe. I can at least see where the tree comes from.
Yeah,
So
but,
lonely
like,
Steve.
But I think it's more like pushing yourself, like depression. It's there. I think that's what the tree is. Right. The way I see it, it's it's having living with those, like, I want to say demons, but like living those things in your mind when you have those issues, and the colorful is just pushing it out, like not pushing it out, but like how can I say this, living with it, but making it more, trying to be more optimistic.
Optimistic.
Yeah, being more on the positive side, not just be in your depression like Anne Sexton is, because that's what she seems like she's embodying embracing more of her darkness, but Van Gogh seems to put in more of, try to look for the beauty, and even in the darkness.
That's a very, very good analogy, and that's exactly what I kind of was trying to say, but she worded it a lot better than I did.
Okay.
I am going to say also, though, like, it may seem a little odd, but I have bias on this. And the bias has nothing to do with Anne Sexton, it has to do with the writing. So when I was in, you knew me from high school, but like when I was in late high school, after I left Yale, like early college, I wrote some of the most depressing lyrics ever. Songs about grayness and blackness and darkness and death and spirits and all kinds of crazy stuff. And honestly, like, this reminds me of that, and like I was able to get out of that phase and see the world more like Van Gogh saw the world now than Sexton sees the world here. So it kind of reminds me of some negative parts of my own life, which is why I'm a little biased. But I'm trying to look at it through the lens of how I used to be when I was a little more, emotionally volatile, so to speak.
Well, when you write music, you could probably, there are some instances where it's just downright negative, while in other instances it could be solace to trying to get out of that
For my
negativity.
music, most of my music is about someone or something or a feeling I'm feeling in my life. Back then, songs were literally just about horrible, awful things like depression and death and stuff. But now, like, it's about communication. It's about people I know doing good things, people I know doing bad things, but they're not like death, grayness, darkness. And that's how it used to be for me. So I feel a little bit of a bias against that. But that doesn't mean, I just want to clarify, this doesn't mean that it's a bad poem. I do like this poem. It's just really hard for me to read because of my past biases.
Okay. And, I mean, there's phases, too, as far as the way people write and think are concerned. But, I mean, it's just a matter of...
Going off what Tara said, yeah.
Because some people will interpret things, because people interpret songs differently. Watching enough American Idol, you take an upbeat song and turn it into a slow ballad, or you do the reverse.
Yeah, and like our literary music week we did a couple years ago, we all had different opinions on different songs. But basically is that, like, I feel that if you were to catch me 10 years ago and ask me what I thought of this, I'd probably agree a lot more with what Anne Sexton wrote 10 years ago than I do now. Because of the changes I've implemented in my life and this slight bias I have towards my depression in the past.
Okay.
That's good.
It is good.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from the work and the wording and the amazing direction that her poem takes.
Yeah, because it is an authentic feeling that she had.
Like, I don't want you guys to think like
it's authentic feeling.
my bias is
very well written
law.
too.
It's not.
Yes.
It's just that I think just my personal it changed over the years, but I think the writing is still great. I think the power is still great, but I'm more looking for positive energy now than negative energy.
Okay.
For in a work. I mean, in any work. It doesn't have to be on Sexton's work. But.
Alrighty then. Was there anything anybody else wanted to say?
Nope, I said what actually Willie wanted to say.
So did I.
I really appreciated Kara's analogy. That was exactly what I was trying to say. I just didn't word it right.
Okay. Do we have any final thoughts? Anything that was left
You know
unsaid?
what? I'd just like to say, when I looked at the painting, I could see where she's coming from with looking at the painting that way. I could see it, but you know, not that I'm suicidal or anything,
No.
but I can appreciate. You know, it's interesting. You look at a painting, you know, a million times, and then somebody says, "Well, what do you think of this? You know, this way of looking at it?" And sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. This time I was able to kind of say, "Ah, yeah, this piece is lonely and kind of sad."
And you should check out our literary responses to art, because we did 2 so far, and one of them I thought was much more vibrant, and the other one I thought was more like the Anne Sexton way. So like you can look, different people can look at paintings and get different responses. So it's like I said all along, like I think Anne Sexton did a wonderful job portraying what she's trying to portray, but I just don't agree with the negative energy part of it. So if you're just going by the writing of this poem, this is a fantastic poem. And I think that despite Anne Sexton's shortcomings, or at least I think there's shortcomings, of what kind of she did when she was alive, and kind of how she thought, like her writing though is stellar. Stellar stars. Get it? Funny.
Alrighty.
More ways than one, it's stellar.
Okay.
What about you, Josh? You didn't really mention what you thought of the poem.
Oh, it's one of my favorite poems, and I see it different. I happen to see it differently each time. I think in this case, the greater concentration was on the details of how she saw night and how it reflected loneliness. I do love her wording, though, like the describing the tree-like figure as one black-haired tree slips like a drowned woman into the hot sky. There is exactly 11 stars in the sky, and I like that. Oh, starry, starry night, this is how I want to die, and the way that it just the way that she incorporates
So dark, but
it.
so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the question. This is just a rhetorical question, so no need for an answer. But looking back on, I did not do this poem when we first went over it. I think it was Josh, and Larry was in
Yeah,
it.
it was-
Larry was in it, and somebody else.
Charlie,
Charlie.
and Brianna.
So
Brianna
Josh has looked at this, and Larry has looked at this before, and you've got to wonder what has changed more. Do you think that they've looked at it differently, or that they have changed as people?
I know
Because
that
I
I've
think you can
changed.
make an argument for both.
Yeah, I've changed a lot. I know that. Like,
Because
And,
Between 10 years ago, yes.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was,
Change
I was
is
an
in-
atheistic
Yes.
communist 10 years ago, so
Okay.
I've come a long way
You
from
probably
that.
can.
We all
Look
change
back
I think it's
at the old
interesting.
stuff.
when you think about it.
I think that what we here in literary lit, we're postmodern in the way that we're not. I think that there's something about what we do that can't be structured, and that's the way things are. There's something in life, and there's something in executing something properly that just doesn't run on a certain kind of structure. There's some things that are just meant to stay natural.
Like conversation.
Yes, like
And
conversation.
that's why I also
Yeah.
think in general, I redoing works like this is having a different lens on it. Like I said, if this was season 4, you said?
Yes.
So if I had done this with you at season 4, I would have had a completely different opinion of it than I do now. I guarantee it. Just knowing my past self.
And it's interesting. I mean, there's so many reasons why we're revisiting works. And
It'll be interesting to see the old episode to see what you guys said,
Yeah.
and then compare it. And when this comes out, compare it to the one that.
Compare and
It's a good
contrast.
idea. You should
And-
link the original.
yeah, I'll do
Link
that.
the original
And
one you get.
I also
Click
wrote a blog post about it too back in 2013.
Okay.
But long
So there's
story
a lot.
short, great poem, but it can be a tough one to swallow.
Yeah. The use of heat, like we touched on that, and I just wanted to compare it to The Stranger, which was another story of
Work we
piece.
went over.
Yeah, that we went over this season, and it's similar in how they're using heat as like this, this need to escape from it. You know, like-
Right. Yeah, because when he shoots the Arab, there's all this stuff about heat.
yeah, and also when they're going to bury the mother, the guy is limping
Right.
behind, and you know he's feeling like he should probably say something to that guy, but doesn't really want to, and you know it's the heat. It's like it's just pushing me into
Some-
the
It
church.
is quite. It's like I think Pablo Neruda is known for writing about feelings of hot and warmth.
Wasn't there that Sun
In-
poem by wasn't that the Sun?
Osip Mandelstam.
Osip Mandelstam.
That's
did
the
a
Black
Sun?
Sun.
Right.
But it's very intriguing when weather and temperature is incorporated.
Especially when you're coming out of a painting where you don't even know what the weather was. Which is interesting. Yours is
Yeah, I don't
assuming-
even know if it was hot and sweaty
I
because
mean, it looks like it was windy.
yeah, I would have.
But she sees.
I would have
the
applied
serpent.
more of a breeze or like
Stillness.
yeah, still like cooler weather, not necessarily freezing cold, but
the cool.
maybe like a midsummer's night,
Yeah.
where there's a bit of a breeze in the air, but yet enough of a temperature where
Yes.
it's evident.
So you got to wonder how much of it she's reading into the painting as opposed to taking out of it. You know, like what is she reading into it? Meaning like she's putting her own thoughts into the painting instead of trying to take what Van Gogh is trying to say out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to wonder.
So where did you get this book?
I ordered this on Amazon,
Oh.
if I'm not mistaken, and then I bought a few copies for friends of mine too.
Okay.
But if you are interested, here is my copy of the complete poems of Anne Sexton. This is one of my favorite collections.
By the way, the uterus one was the other one.
Yes, in celebration of my uterus. That was the first Anne Sexton work we went over.
So you would say this one over the other one.
Yes, I would. The Starry Night is my favorite Anne Sexton poem.
Well, that's all I need to hear then.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very good, but just really tough. And coming from a background of mine, it's not something that I appreciate as much as I think I would have. But I do think it is a great poem, and it's worded well, and it's got great metaphors and similes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with you as far as the imagery is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just enjoying a poem for its face value, and just just keeping it on the surface level, which is sometimes just what a poet wants you to do.
Just like Carl's, whatever his name is, about where he takes the fruit out of the ice box, and it's about him taking the fruit out of the ice box.
Oh yeah, there was. But what was that? The grape, something grapes.
He takes, I forget, plum or I think
It was the icebox one.
Okay.
We did it last season, I think.
Either he takes a
I know which one you're talking about.
either it takes a
Sounds
plum
familiar
or
to me,
something out, and it was for poetry class. I took that poem and I made it out to be like he took the forbidden fruit from his
Okay.
friend's wife.
Oh,
or
it's a
whatever.
different poem then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Already
I
then.
did do an icebox poem last time.
Be sure to join us next time on another episode of Literary Gladiators. And for now, keep reading.
Keep reading.